The scene opens in a busy office environment, with Ethan at the center of operations. He's leading a meeting with his team, pointing to a large screen displaying growth charts and client feedback. His team listens attentively as he outlines strategies for the next quarter. The camera captures the respect his team has for him, nodding in agreement, offering suggestions, and looking to him for guidance. Ethan is confident, articulate, and fully in control of the operations that have made the company successful. The next visual shows Ethan meeting with a longtime client in a sleek conference room. The client smiles and shakes Ethan's hand as they discuss a new contract. "Your team has been instrumental in our growth," the client says, clearly appreciative of Ethan's leadership and the results his team has delivered. Ethan smiles back, proud but humble, as he listens to the praise. The camera lingers on Ethan's face as he stands by the window, reflecting on the impact he's had on both his team and the clients who rely on him. The trust he's built over the years is evident. Cut to a scene showing Ethan overseeing operations on the production floor. He's checking in with various departments, inspecting processes, and offering advice. The camera captures his attention to detail, his eyes scanning machinery, making sure everything is running smoothly. Workers acknowledge him with a nod or a smile, showing the respect they have for him. Ethan takes a moment to make sure a worker understands a new safety protocol, showing his commitment to the well-being of his team. The atmosphere is one of teamwork and mutual respect. Later, camera captures Ethan at his desk, reviewing reports and finalizing decisions. He is deeply engrossed in his work, surrounded by documents that reflect years of dedication. A photo of the team's last successful project sits on his desk, a constant reminder of how far they've come. The camera pulls back slowly, showing Ethan looking out of his office window. The view of the city symbolizes the future he's helped build, future he's incredibly proud of. However, there's a subtle shift in the atmosphere. The camera briefly shows a few murmurs among the staff about the recent acquisition and the new CEO coming in. Ethan's eyes flicker to a new set of plans on his desk, plans that he hasn't yet fully digested. His expression shifts slightly, a quiet concern growing. Something is changing and he can sense it. The scene opens with the entire company gathered in a large conference room. The camera pans across the room, capturing employees' faces filled with curiosity and uncertainty as they wait for the new CEO's address. The doors open, and the new CEO walks confidently to the front, their sharp suit contrasting with the more casual attire of the staff. The camera zooms in on the CEO, who exudes authority and ambition. They step up to the podium and begin speaking, laying out their vision for the company's future. The CEO's voice fills the room as they describe a bold new direction, rapid growth, increased profits, and operational efficiency at all costs. The camera shows the employees, some nodding along while others exchange concerned glances. The CEO discusses expanding into new markets, restructuring departments for maximum output, and prioritizing speed above all else. The energy in the room is palpable. This is someone who plans to make their mark, no matter the cost. Cut to Ethan, sitting among his colleagues, a furrowed brow marking his expression. He listens intently, but cannot shake the growing unease. The CEO's focus on expansion and short-term profits doesn't align with the foundation Ethan helped build, a company that grew slowly but steadily, focusing on long-term stability and integrity. The camera captures Ethan's thoughtful gaze as he looks around the room, noticing the subtle discomfort of those around him. The CEO talks about cutting inefficiencies, reducing operational costs, and pushing for rapid development of new products. But there's little mention of the company culture Ethan and his team had carefully nurtured. The camera zooms in on Ethan as he shifts in his seat, his mind racing. Where does he fit in this vision? After the speech, the room empties out, and Ethan walks slowly back to his office, reflecting on what he's just heard. The camera captures his steps as they echo down the hallway, symbolizing the growing distance between him and the new direction the company is taking. He arrives at his desk looking at the reports and documents that were once the foundation of his success. He's proud of what he's built, but the unease grows. Will his contributions continue to matter? The scene opens with a tense meeting in the company's modern conference room. Ethan is seated at the table, his hands folded in front of him. As the CEO passionately presents their latest plan to restructure the company, the camera shows Ethan's furrowed brow as the CEO discusses rolling out new processes, cutting down on costs, and pushing for a faster turnaround on projects. As the CEO speaks, Ethan glances at the other department heads, sensing that the energy in the room is divided. His unease deepens when the CEO ignores the data and feedback Ethan had been gathering for weeks, focusing instead on a high-speed approach that could compromise quality and sustainability. Ethan raises his hand. Speaking up in a calm, measured tone, "I understand the need for speed, but we must consider the long-term effects of cutting these corners. Our success has been built on careful planning and quality. If we compromise those, we risk losing the trust we've worked so hard to earn." The camera focuses on Ethan as he speaks, his voice steady but firm. His words seem to fall flat as the CEO dismisses them with a wave of the hand. "We're in a different market now, Ethan. We need to adapt, not dwell on the past. This is the future." The camera shifts to Ethan's face, the frustration now clearly evident. He attempts to speak again, but the CEO moves on, unwilling to entertain the concerns of someone who has been there from the beginning. The meeting ends, but the tension lingers in the room. Ethan's contributions, once valued, are now being overlooked in favor of the CEO's aggressive vision. Cut to the next scene, where Ethan walks through the office, passing by teams who used to collaborate with him. The atmosphere has changed. There's a sense of urgency, a rush to meet deadlines at the expense of the thoughtful, well-paced strategies Ethan had put in place. As he walks by his team, he sees a few of his colleagues quietly discussing the changes. They glance at him, but no one speaks up. He can feel the distance between them growing in his office later. Ethan reviews performance reports from his division, noticing the first signs of inefficiency creeping in as the company pushes for rapid changes. His face reflects frustration as he realizes that these mistakes could have been avoided if only his approach had been considered. He leans back in his chair, staring at the reports. How did it come to this? The scene opens with Ethan walking through the hallway toward the CEO's office, his steps echoing in the empty corridor. He's holding a few reports, expecting a routine discussion about the company's progress. The camera lingers on Ethan's face, showing a slight furrow in his brow as he senses that something is off, but he brushes it aside. As he reaches the CEO's office, he takes a deep breath, opens the door, and steps inside. The CEO is seated at the desk, hands folded, with a cool, almost distant expression. The camera focuses on Ethan as he stands before the CEO's desk, waiting for a greeting, but none comes. The CEO looks up after a moment and speaks in a flat, matter-of-fact tone. "Ethan, I've called you in today to discuss your future with the company." Ethan nods, waiting for the usual operational updates, but instead, the CEO continues. "After careful consideration, we've decided to let you go. Your role no longer aligns with the direction we're taking the company in." Ethan's face freezes, his body momentarily stiffening with shock. The camera zooms in on his face as the words begin to sink in. He opens his mouth to speak but hesitates, searching for the right words to process the situation. "But I've been here for 12 years. I've helped build this company, my team," he stammers. But the CEO cuts him off with a dismissive wave of the hand. "You've done good work, Ethan," the CEO says coldly. "But the company's vision is changing. We need new leadership to align with the future direction of the company. You're not the right fit for that." Ethan's mind races as the CEO continues to justify the decision, citing the need for fresh leadership to help the company grow in the way they envision. His heart sinks as he listens to the words, struggling to reconcile them with the years of dedication and success he's given to the company. How could this happen? His mind is a blur, and he struggles to make sense of what is happening. The camera cuts to Ethan's hands, which are clenched tightly around the reports. He's holding his knuckles whiten as he fights to control his emotions. Now the betrayal stings deeply, and the reality of the situation crashes down on him. "I don't understand," Ethan manages to say, his voice trembling with disbelief. After everything I've done for this company, you're telling me it's not enough? The CEO's face remains impassive. It's not personal, Ethan. It's about what's best for the company now. The finality in the CEO's voice stabs through Ethan's resolve. The camera focuses on Ethan's face, his eyes briefly closing as the weight of the decision lands on him. This is not just a business decision, this is personal. He feels the years of hard work, the relationships built, and the loyalty he's shown being swept away in an instant. As he stands up to leave, the camera shows Ethan's face one last time, the sting of betrayal clear in his eyes, as the door closes behind him with a quiet thud, leaving him in stunned silence. The scene opens with news of Ethan's firing, circulating through the company and the industry. The camera shows murmurs of shock and disbelief among employees as the announcement spreads like wildfire. Phones buzz, emails are exchanged, and the tension is palpable. Cut to a group of investors sitting around a long conference table there. Faces a mixture of confusion, concern, and disbelief. The camera zooms in on one investor, checking his phone. He's seeing the news flash across his screen, his expression turning grim. The scene shifts to the investors' meeting room, where several of the company's key investors are gathered. The CEO stands at the head of the table, trying to maintain composure. But it's clear from their stiff posture that they're nervous. The camera shows the CEO's hands trembling slightly as they shuffle through papers. The investors are speaking over one another, asking pointed questions, their voices rising in frustration. How could you fire Ethan? He built this company. The division he led brought in 60% of our revenue. How is this the right decision? One investor demands. Another chimes in. This isn't just a mistake. It's a catastrophe. It's a catastrophe. He was integral to our growth. What are you thinking? The CEO tries to calm the investors, explaining that the firing was part of a new strategy, but their voice lacks conviction. The camera captures the CEO's nervous glances, the tightness around their mouth. As they struggle to explain their decision, the company needs a new direction. A fresh start, the CEO insists. Though their words sound increasingly hollow, the investors remain unconvinced, their faces etched with concern. The camera shifts to the investor sitting closest to the CEO, his hand rubbing his forehead in disbelief. Do you realize what this will do to the company's reputation? We trusted Ethan. His leadership was everything, he says, his voice strained. A low murmur spreads through the room as the stock prices on a laptop screen in the background start to dip. The camera zooms in on the stock ticker, showing the decline. Panic starts to set in. Cut to a scene of the CEO, now standing by the window. Watching the stock prices drop, the camera lingers on their face, showing the weight of the situation sinking in. They know the damage has been done. The investors' confidence is shattered, and the CEO's decision is starting to backfire in real time. The scene transitions back to the meeting room, where the investors are questioning the CEO with more urgency. We can't afford another misstep, one investor says. We need a plan to regain their trust and restore the company's stability. The CEO attempts to assure them that things will get better, but the doubt is already there. The camera lingers on their nervous face as they try to appease the investors. But the tension in the room is undeniable. The scene begins with Ethan sitting in his new office, confidently working on a project. When his phone buzzes with an incoming message from the CEO, the camera shows Ethan's reaction a brief moment of disbelief followed by a mix of frustration and quiet amusement. He picks up his phone, reading the message. Ethan, I've realized I made a huge mistake. The company's been struggling without you, and I can't fix it without your leadership. Please, can we talk? The camera lingers on Ethan's face. As he processes the words, his fingers scrolling through the message with a sense of calm detachment, Ethan sets his phone down and leans back in his chair, shaking his head slightly. The camera cuts to his desk, showing a picture of the team he now leads, a stark contrast to the company that once dismissed him. Ethan's mind races back to the days of uncertainty in the CEO's office, the betrayal still fresh in his memory. He looks out the window, his reflection merging with the city's skyline, reminder that he's now in control of his own future. The next visual shows Ethan receiving several urgent phone calls from the CEO. The screen lights up with a series. of texts. I can't believe I let you go, Ethan. I need you back. I'll offer you a higher salary, a more senior position, and the authority to implement the changes you've been asking for. The camera shows Ethan looking at his phone, the frustration building as he reads each message. The CEO's desperation is palpable, but Ethan remains unmoved. He listens to the voicemail left by the CEO, filled with empty apologies and promises of a new leadership role. I was wrong, Ethan. Please, come back. We need you. The camera focuses on Ethan's expression as he listens. His eyes narrow slightly, a mixture of disbelief and resolve washing over him. After the call ends, he sets the phone down on his desk. The camera captures his steady, unwavering gaze as he reflects on the CEO's words. He knows the apology is too little, too late. No amount of money or promises can undo the betrayal. Ethan takes a deep breath and turns his focus back to his new business, his team, and the success he's now building on his own terms. Later, the camera shows Ethan composing a response to the CEO's texts. The words are carefully chosen. I've already moved on. I've built something for myself, something meaningful. I can't go back to a company that didn't value my contributions. I wish you the best, but I'm no longer interested in coming back. He hits send, and the camera lingers on the message as it disappears into the digital ether. There's no hesitation in his actions, resolute in his decision. His future is no longer tied to the company that once let him go. The scene opens with Ethan attending an industry event, standing confidently among a group of professionals. The camera captures his relaxed but assertive body language as he shakes hands and exchanges business cards. Ethan is no longer the employee in a corporate office, but a business owner, confidently carving his own path. The camera lingers on. His face, a subtle smile of satisfaction playing on his lips as he engages in conversations with old colleagues and potential clients, all of whom respect his expertise and vision. Cut to Ethan at his new office, which is modest but well organized. The camera zooms in on his desk where he's working late into the night, reviewing contracts, brainstorming new ideas, and strategizing on how to grow his consulting business. He's fully immersed in the work, his mind sharp, his focus unwavering. The camera captures his hands typing with confidence as he finalizes proposals. Setting the stage for his future success, the scene transitions to a meeting with a potential client. Ethan is standing in front of a whiteboard explaining a new safety protocol he's designed. The camera focuses on his clear, confident presentation, his passion for his work evident in his voice and demeanor. The client nods in agreement, impressed by Ethan's knowledge and experience. A handshake seals the deal, and Ethan's business begins to gain momentum. The camera captures Ethan walking out of the meeting room, a sense of accomplishment radiating from him. Later, Ethan is seen attending another event, this time as the keynote speaker. He stands in front of a crowd, confidently addressing industry professionals, sharing his knowledge and insights. The camera shows the audience nodding along, captivated by his expertise and the vision he's built for himself. As Ethan speaks, the camera pulls back to show the room filled with people who respect him for his achievements, not his position at a company that didn't value him. Ethan's determination is clear in every interaction, every decision. He's no longer the person he was when he worked for the company that let him go. His focus has shifted from being an employee to being a leader in his own right. The camera captures him with a quiet but strong resolve, knowing he's building something far more meaningful than the job he lost. The scene opens with Ethan in a sleek impute, modern boardroom, confidently leading a meeting with a prominent client. The camera captures Ethan standing at the head of the table, presenting a carefully crafted strategy on a projector screen. His voice is calm yet authoritative as he outlines his approach to helping the client improve their operations. The client listens attentively, nodding along, clearly impressed by Ethan's professionalism and insight. The camera focuses on the client shaking Ethan's hand as they agree to a partnership. The deal is secured, marking another milestone in Ethan's growing consulting business. Cut to a scene of Ethan at his office, looking at a wall full of client logos, each representing a successful contract he has signed. The camera captures Ethan smiling to himself as he reviews a new project proposal. His reputation in the industry is solidifying. Word has spread about his ability to lead, innovate, and deliver results. He's no longer just an employee. He's now a respected business owner, trusted by high-profile clients to manage their growth strategies. The camera transitions to Ethan meeting with a group of industry leaders at a networking event. Ethan speaks confidently, sharing his success story and insights on how to drive long-term growth while maintaining a commitment to safety and quality. The leaders nod in agreement, some of them even taking notes. Ethan's network continues to grow, and his influence in the industry expands as he gains recognition for his expertise and ability to deliver results. Later, the camera shows Ethan at his desk, reviewing a new contract proposal that promises another high-value client. Paperwork is signed, and he looks up from the desk, his eyes filled with a sense of fulfillment. He's built something from the ground up, and it's now flourishing beyond his expectations. The final visual shows Ethan walking out of his office, his head held high as he looks down the hallway. He pauses at the door, glancing back one last time at the office he's worked so hard to build. The camera captures a moment of quiet pride. Knowing that his success is now entirely on his own terms, the scene opens with Ethan sitting in his sleek new office, reviewing a series of successful projects and client feedback. His phone buzzes, and he glances at it. It's a message from the CEO, requesting a meeting. The camera shows Ethan's calm, composed reaction. A faint smile touches his lips as he sets the phone down, already knowing how far he's come. He's no longer the employee desperate for validation, he's the business owner in control of his future. Cut to the CEO's office, where Ethan walks in with confidence. The camera captures his measured steps, his posture straight and self-assured. The CEO, seated at their desk, stands up as Ethan enters. There's an awkward silence for a moment. The CEO's expression is tense, with a hint of regret in their eyes. They gesture for Ethan to sit, but Ethan remains standing for a moment, surveying the room. The dynamic has shifted. Ethan finally sits down, and the camera focuses on him as he calmly begins speaking. "I received your request for a meeting," he says with a cool but firm tone. "I wanted to let you know how things have gone since I left the company. Things are going well, better than I could have imagined. I've built a successful business, and I'm now working with clients who value my leadership and expertise." The CEO's face shows subtle signs of unease as Ethan continues, outlining his successes since leaving. The camera shows the CEO's attempts to interject, but Ethan remains composed, calmly listing the clients he's secured, the contracts he's signed, and the positive feedback he's received. The camera zooms in on the CEO, whose face is slowly starting to show the realization of their mistake. Ethan's success has far exceeded their expectations. "You know," Ethan continues, his voice calm but filled with conviction, "I built this business from the ground up. You fired me because you thought I wasn't aligned with your vision. But it turns out your vision didn't account for the value. I didn't just help this company succeed, I helped build it." The camera cuts to the CEO, who is now visibly uncomfortable, shifting in their seat as Ethan speaks. The realization that they've made a critical mistake is evident. The CEO tries to justify their decision, but their words lack conviction. And Ethan doesn't allow them to finish. "It's too late for apologies," Ethan says, cutting them off. "I've moved on. Frankly, I'm glad I did. I control my own future now, not you." The CEO sits back in their chair, defeated. The camera focuses on their face as they acknowledge the truth, but it's too late for them to reverse the damage. Ethan stands up, ready to leave. The camera lingers on him as he turns toward the door, his final words lingering in the air. "Good luck with your new vision. I hope it works out." Ethan exits the room, leaving the CEO sitting behind the desk, the weight of their decisions finally sinking in. The camera captures Ethan walking down the hall, his shoulders squared. A man fully in control of his destiny? The tension that once existed between him and the CEO is now a thing of the past he thinks has already proven his worth. The scene opens with Ethan standing in his new office, looking out over the city from a large window. The camera captures the city skyline as the sun begins to set, casting a warm, golden light over the scene. Ethan stands tall, a quiet sense of pride emanating from him as he reflects on his journey. The camera zooms in on his face, a faint smile forming as he takes in the view. Knowing that he has built something meaningful on his own terms, the scene transitions to Ethan working with clients in his new office. The camera shows him confidently, leading a meeting, explaining his approach to solving a complex issue. Clients nod in agreement, impressed with his expertise and leadership. Ethan's ability to navigate challenging situations is now his greatest strength, and the trust and respect he's earned from others is clear. Later, the camera captures Ethan sitting at his desk, reviewing contracts and business proposals. He's in deep thought, but there's a sense of calm about him. He's no longer weighed down by the doubts and uncertainties that once plagued him in the corporate world. He's fully in control, making decisions that reflect his values and vision. A framed photo of his old team from the company he helped build sits on his desk, a reminder of where he came from, but also a symbol of the growth he's experienced. Since then, cut to a moment where Ethan is reflecting on his journey. He's at a cafe, talking with a former colleague from his past company. They share a laugh, and the conversation turns to the challenges Ethan faced when he was fired. "I never thought I'd end up here," Ethan says with a thoughtful smile. "But in hindsight, it was the best thing that could have happened. I'm in control now, and I'm proud of what I've built." The camera captures the quiet confidence in his voice as he speaks. He knows that the road ahead will be challenging, but he's ready for it. The final visual shows Ethan walking through the office, exchanging greetings with his employees and clients. He's no longer the outsider he once felt like in the company he helped build. The camera follows him as he walks with purpose and clarity. A man who has learned from his past and is prepared to face whatever comes next. The camera pans out, showing Ethan at the helm of his own growing business, confidently steering the ship into the future.